Isaiah Crawford. Oh,
You've got. Did you
oh,
mention Drew Eubanks,
oh no, I forget.
Dario Saric?
Oh man, who stands to lose the most on this? On a version of the Kings that is kind of just the same as what we saw last year.
Oh, it's a player who lost the most last year, and that's Keegan Murray. Like for me, um, the Kings have had the 4th pick in the draft a couple of years ago, and your climb out of where you were should have been focused on bringing him along with everybody else to make sure that he's taking the logical steps.
Mm-hmm.
He took it, and logical step in year 2 went from 12 points to 15 points, and then I hate saying it this way, it's almost like he made a mistake by becoming the team's best defensive player, because then he became like their only defensive player until they stumbled upon Keon Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he gets to defend the most difficult player and run around like a crazy person defending that person.
Mm-hmm.
And, and one night, again, we've talked about this, one night it's Steph, one night it's LeBron James, the next night it can be Jokic that he's defending.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's great. He's a versatile defender and all that stuff. But when you draft a player in the top 4, your hope is that he will ascend to being either a two-way player or a great offensive player, but an all-star, an all-star level player.
No doubt.
You cannot be an all-star level player when your points per game go back from 15 a game to 12. That's just
as a wing for sure.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Like all-stars don't score 12 points per game.
Nope.
And so, look, I think that that when they decided to bring in DeMar DeRozan, Keegan was impacted greatly by that, and the fact that DeMar DeRozan's still there, and now you're bringing in another scorer and Dennis Schroeder, and you're still going to ask, is he a pesky defender? Yeah, we'll call him pesky. That's fine. Like Dennis Schroeder's not an elite lockdown, lights out defender.
No, he is a we'll pick somebody up 92 feet, might get a steal, jump in a passing lane, he'll gamble here and there.
Yeah,
you'll get effort.
Yeah, effort, and he's a good defender, right? But he's not great.
No,
and so Keegan is still going to get asked to do all these things, and who's giving up their shots to him? And the answer is nobody. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, all right, yeah, Keegan, you can have 2 of my shots. I'm good." And someone else goes, "Yeah, I got 3 more shots for you." That's not happening. So, for me, he's the guy who's probably going to be the one that, again, he'll probably get paid this offseason. But even if I'm him and his people, I'm a little leery on it. What is my path forward?
Sure.
What is my path to being a major role, a major piece to what's happening? Because there was all this conversation that Keegan was going to take a step and be the team's 2nd or 3rd leading scorer. And it looked like that's where he was going in year 2 and year 3. It's a dramatic step backwards. So I would be, again, if I'm his people, I'd be like, all right, we'll let this play out one more year.
I would be so much more inclined. I saw somebody bring up the name Shane Battier. If that's what Keegan Murray winds up being, if he has Shane Battier's career,
yeah,
you've got an awesome career. But that works fine when you're on a team that is going on deep playoff runs. And hey, you know what? This team's just loaded, and I'm going to go take a back seat over here. I'm going to be a great defender. I'm going to do the little things. I'm probably more talented than that, but you know what? We're winning, and I'm going to do the things it takes to affect winning the most. He's doing that on a team where there's not much winning to affect. And I'm going to call it disappointing for lack of a better word, because he's good. Keegan Murray is a really, really good player. But in relation to what it looked like his ceiling was after year 1, and then he goes into year 2 at the California Classic, and he just looks like a man amongst boys. His frame is filled out. He found some athleticism that didn't look to be fully there in year 1. It just, oh man, he's ready to take this massive leap, and then nope. And then last year, nope. And so while yes, he's really good, he has a ton of value on an NBA roster. It's short of what kind of I think the ceiling that we all saw for him was. And the fact of the matter is, he's not 20 years old.
No.
Or 21 years old. He turns 25 this year?
Yes.
He turns 25. So you're in a situation where, hey, you know what? You're kind of running up to your ceiling and your room for growth as a player. You're lowering every year that Keegan Murray stands in the corner while DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine do all the primary scoring and ball handling. That brings his ceiling down another rung.
Yeah.
And then another one, and then another one. And I think I agree with you that he stands to lose the most, because it's just very clear this is not a knock on him as a player. I think it's just kind of where Keegan is as a person, and with his fit on this team. He's not going to be the player that's like, F this, I'm going to break structure. I'm going to go demand the ball after a made basket. I'm going to go demand the ball, and I'm just going to go do this myself. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what you're seeing is not him becoming a bad player. I don't think it's him becoming worse. I think it's his ceiling coming down, and his role from what we thought it was to, hey, what it is realistically changing. And I don't think there's a path to him getting back on a all-star track on this roster.
Oh no, at his current construction. And like my point would be this, the most that Shane Battier ever made in a season? $7.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
He made $56 million for his career. I don't hate the player comp.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shane Battier was an excellent defender, super versatile.
I didn't want to seem like, hey, you're Shane Battier, you stink.
Yeah,
like that was what I was trying to get across.
Yeah. No, but the problem is that Keegan's going to get paid this summer, most likely, to be like a $25 million player at least.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you rectify that situation that, a $25 million player that might score 12 points a game?
Mm-hmm.
And he's scoring 12 points a game, not because of himself. He's scoring 12 points a game because you're limiting him to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what players typically make, that score 12 points per game.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's tough. Like, I really think Keegan is in sort of a bind here. He's in a weird spot with the Kings. And, we keep seeing his 3-point percentage drop. We see these things, that he's not taking the necessary steps forward. But I don't feel like it's his fault. I feel like it's circumstantial, and that's tough. But
the per 100 stuff tells the story. Keegan's rookie year, 15.7. This is per 100 possessions.
Mm-hmm.
15.7 field goal attempts, 10.1 3-point attempts per 100. That's a really, really nice track for a rookie. The next year, 18.3 field goal attempts per 100. The 3-pointers came down a little bit, 9.6. But hey, you'll take the additional 2-point attempts. Typically, that means more creation, getting smarter and more effective at cutting, maybe getting some steals and getting some runouts. So yeah, okay, good with that. 3-point volume down some, but overall field goal attempts up. The notion was in 24-25, Keegan Murray would take this leap and take this ascent and become the number 2 or number 3 scorer on this team. And instead, 15.4 field goal attempts per 100 possessions, career low. 8.4 3-point attempts per 100 possessions, a career low. That's not changing.
Yeah. And like, I'm going to pull out like Scout here in the chat says, who's limiting him? It's a bad take by me. Who's limiting him? His teammates are limiting him. His entire organization is limiting him. What do you mean? Like, when you bring in a guy who averages 17 shots per game to replace a guy who averaged 9 shots per game, who loses the 8 shots?
Right.
It's basic math.
Yes. It's easy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's him.
Look, and here's the deal. You can blame Keegan for not going, hey, give me the ball. You can blame him for that. But to me, and this is where the argument, let's bring Jonathan Kuminga back in. This is where the Jonathan Kuminga Warriors, Steve Kerr, whose fault is it? This is kind of where this gets.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you have to go, hey, we value Keegan very highly. We think Keegan is a piece of this core going forward. How can we maximize Keegan Murray, the player? okay, we know he's not going to demand the ball. We know he's not that type of personality. We know he's not that play style. So how can we ensure that he's getting shots up? How can we ensure that he is getting the runway to become that player? Adding DeMar DeRozan, adding Zach LaVine, not doing it. And so if you want to blame him for not being the guy who's going to be like, give me the damn ball, I'm shooting it 20 times, to hell with your offense, I'm the ISO guy now. That's you can't do that.
Well, I'd even like further your point here, the Keegan Murray versus Jonathan Kuminga deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kuminga, the Warriors don't want him because that's who he is. He's a guy who's just me, mm-hmm. and won't listen and won't go play the defense that they want him to play, mm-hmm. and won't learn the basic play sets to make them solid defensively when he's in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You got another guy who is doing all that, but because he's not vocal, because he's not screaming and yelling at everybody, who are you going to scream and yell at? Like, again, your point guard's De'Aaron Fox. He's shooting 20 times a game. They replace him, but you got a 6-man and Malik Monk who's shooting 13 times a game. Mm-hmm. You got a center that everybody wants to shoot more, who's shooting 12 or 13 times a game, and Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
It, like, realistically, you swapped out a small forward that was shooting 8.9 shots per game, and I don't know what the final tally was on DeMar DeRozan, but I'm going to guess that it's much higher. Yeah.
Probably double.
Look at that. It's 17.
Oh.
17.
Almost exactly double.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's just tough. I want to say, oh yeah, he's got to work more off the dribble, or he is not put in that position by the team to do that.
I watched this closely last year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't off the top of my head come up with a pattern or a bunch of plays where, because Keegan does put the ball on the deck, guy hard closeout, he'll put and he will get to the rack.
Yep.
It's not like he's sitting there and getting all these opportunities and passing them up. It happened a couple times, catching the corner, and all of a sudden he's swinging. It's like, brother, you need to just put that up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like that was happening 4, 5, 6 times a game.
No, it's once or twice, but it stands out. It does. When he doesn't pull the trigger on a 3 and you're like, what are you doing?
Right. But it's not, but that does not explain the steep drop off in shots.
Yeah.
It's way easier to look at the math the way you did. And if you're Keegan, you're a 23-year-old, 24-year-old who grew up watching DeMar DeRozan be awesome at basketball. He's on your team now. You're expecting that guy to go, to hell with you, it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not real. That's not a realistic thing.
Well, that, and look, I've said this a million times. It's not that DeMar DeRozan's doing anything wrong.
No.
He's the same exact player he has been every other stop in his career.
Every other time.
So that's where, you have to expect a player to be exactly who he is. And especially when they've been in the league 16 years.
Yep.
When a kid has been in the league 3 years and he's trying to make his way, and you realistically take away a ton of opportunity. You took him from the potential to be, the year before, he was the 3rd option.
Mm-hmm.
You made him the 4th option. And then when you put Malik Monk in the starting lineup, he became the 5th option. So I don't want to hear that it's Keegan Murray's fault for not being aggressive enough. When he's the 5th option, that's it. What's he supposed to do? 5th options don't get 14 or 15 shots per game.
Yep.
They get that once every month.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they do it and you go, hey, why doesn't he do that more? And it's like, well, because there's a Hall of Famer and Zach LaVine. And
well, because somebody took a night off and he got to go out there and shoot the ball more. I don't know. It's interesting.
All right. I'm going to step aside just for a moment. Where are the Kings in the West? After all this, where do the Kings currently reside? We'll talk about that. And we might look at some of the quote-unquote best available free agents left. The list is a little bit grim. We'll get to that as well. But where do the Kings currently stand in the Western Conference? We'll talk about that. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. He's Joe Brazil. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Leader.